All right, and just place your palms wherever is comfortable. Maybe they're face down, maybe they're face up, maybe they're just resting in your lap. Take a moment to settle back onto your sits bones, the bony prominence, and that'll help our core muscles to engage, and that creates a nice foundation for the body. And then begin lengthening in the spine. You can imagine you've got a little string being tugged from the crown of your head. Reach for the crown to lengthen in the spine, and sometimes the shoulders will begin to creep up to the ears. So take a moment to roll your shoulders up, back, and behind you, bringing our shoulders and our wings back to the back body. Maybe a slight tuck of the chin to the chest might feel good to you. And then close your eyes if that's comfortable, or just cast your gaze downward or focusing on a stationary point in the room. And let's just arrive here by beginning to connect to the rhythm of your own breath. And just begin to sense the expansion of your inhalation. And notice how everything releases back towards the spine with your exhalation. So nothing to do but simply notice the breath. As you stay with the breath, I'd like to honor my acknowledgement. We honor the South Asian roots and lineage of this sacred yoga practice. We ground ourselves into this ancient tool to be responsible stewards while ensuring that our teachings are both accessible and equitable to all members in our community for self-inquiry and self-liberation. Thank you and welcome. So let's take 3 collective breaths together to seal in our practice. Taking a deep breath in and out. Another deep breath in and out. Again, inhale and exhale. And just for the few rounds of breath, bring things to mind that you are grateful for. Exhale, let those gratitudes go. We'll move closer with the breath, moving into a pranayama exercise. We're going to work with a balancing breath by inhaling for 3 counts and exhaling for 3 counts. If you have a clear nasal passage today, work with the breath in and out the nose. I'll do a couple rounds with you, and then you can continue to work with this breath on your own. Again, before we start, lengthening through the spine, softening shoulders down the back body. We'll begin together. Inhaling 3. And exhale 3. Inhale 3. Exhale 3. Again, inhale. And exhale. Continue in this way. Count the breath in your mind. 1, 2, 3 as you take a breath in. 1, 2, 3 as you take a breath out. Incorporate this breath for 2 minutes. Your next exhalation, release the breath work. Coming back to the natural rhythm of your own breathing. And then if your eyes were closed, we'll gently reopen the eyes. Look down at your legs. We're going to extend the legs and bring the opposite one in front. So extend them out, shake out your knees a teeny bit. And then bring that opposite leg in front. We're going to do a simple meditation for just 1 minute. So take the hands back to that comfortable position. Settle back onto your sits bones. Find that nice tall spine. So on your inhalation, mentally affirm, I am. And on your exhalation, mentally affirm, fully present. Other thoughts will probably pop into the mind. You can greet that thought, let it pass, and then come back to the meditation. I am with your inhale, fully present with your exhale. I'll do a few rounds and then you can continue with the meditation. We'll begin together. Inhaling, I am. Exhale, fully present. Inhale, I am. Exhale, fully present. Continue in this way for 1 more minute. I am with your inhale, fully present with your exhalation. Rounds of breath with the meditation. And with your next exhalation, we'll release the meditation. Once again, coming back to the breath. Take a moment to sense any changes in the body or the mind. And just for a side note, that was less than 5 minutes. So just think about doing this upon awakening and before you go to bed at night, and just see if you can cultivate a practice. Gently reopen the eyes when you're ready. We're going to extend those legs out again, shake out the knees a bit. And then take your feet to the side edges of your mat and bring your hands behind you, fingertips pointing towards your body. You can kind of lean back into the hands and the palms, and then just sway the legs side to side like windshield wipers on a car. You're going to continue to create the pace and rhythm that feels best to your body rather than mirroring what I'm doing and not taking it to that place of pain or discomfort, backing out a little bit. Inhale the legs to one side and exhale to the other. Bless you, baby. And then the next time your knees fall over to your right side, let's release them to the floor. Looking down to your left hand and try to just allow the weight of your legs to relax towards gravity. Noticing your breath. Inhale, head and knees back to center, and exhale over to the other side. Sensing breath here. Inhale, head and knees back to center, coming back to a comfortable seated position. That could be cross-legged. If you need to, you could be in this position, and if you need to extend the legs, you can do that as well. We'll take the hands to the knees and just making simple hip circles. Circle up towards the feet, rounding back towards your hips. And next time you come up towards your feet, reverse directions, opposite way. Turning back to center, we'll do cat-cow flow with the arm variation. So take the hands in front, palms to the floor. Take a deep breath in. With your exhalation, we're going to arch back to cat back. So bring the chin towards the chest, press the spine behind you. And then inhale, open the arms, tilt the pelvis forward, press the heart forward, look up to the ceiling in cow spine. Exhale back to cat back. And inhale into cow spine. So continue in this way. Find the rhythm that feels good to your body, incorporating your breath. Yep, that still works with extended legs. 2 more with the breath here. Good, last one. And then come on up, we'll float the arms down and move into shoulder circles. Any tension or stress from the shoulders of the neck, release with the breath. And reverse directions, opposite way. Good, and release. Bring the hands alongside your hips. We're going to inhale the shoulders to the ears and then just exhale, let them down with a hop with your exhale. Inhaling up. Inhale. Once more. Good. Take the shoulders back to your ears. Roll them behind you. Soften down the back body. We'll take palms facing down to the knees and exhale the left ear to the left shoulder. Inhale gently back to center. Exhale to the right side. Inhale back to center. Exhale, take the chin to the chest. Inhale back to center. Exhale, look up to the ceiling. Inhale back to center. Exhale, look over your right shoulder. Inhale back to center. Exhale over your left. And inhale back to center. All right, extend both legs out again. And then take your right sole of the foot into the left inner thigh. And grab your strap. We're going to do a fold and a twist. So we'll use our strap here. So the knee, that right knee is bent. And if it is high in the air and it's uncomfortable, because we'll be here a bit, then stick a blanket underneath that. We've got a couple extra blankets here. We do want to have a flexion in our extended leg. And so we'll start first with the hands alongside our hips. Settle back to those sits bones so the core muscles are engaged and find that nice tall spine. And then inhale the arms overhead. Exhale, reaching to the crown as you hinge at the hips, coming towards that extended leg. So take the strap across the ball of your foot or the center of that foot. And then you can see how you want to be. Do you want to have your hands really close to that foot and have your arms extended from the body and so you're kind of closer to the leg? Or if that's too much, then scoot back a little bit and have the strap be longer and your arms have a little bend in them. So you're just going to see this level with your own flexibility in that leg. Good morning to the hamstrings. And so keep encouraging that right bent knee towards the floor so we can lengthen in our adductor there as well. Connecting the mind to the breath as you try to release your thoughts. And if it's really uncomfortable, back out a little bit. And stay kind in the mind, not like, hey man, the darn hamstrings, or hey, those hamstrings still suck. It's like, nope, they're just tight. We're going to send love to the hamstrings and stay kind in our mind. It's almost trying to be curious about things rather than judgmental. So wow, that's tight, that's amazing. 3 more nice deep breaths here. And then let's release the strap. We're going to inhale, take the hands towards that front foot back overhead. And now left hand lands at the right knee. Right hand comes behind you. We're twisting towards our bent knee. That hand behind you, those fingertips can point away from your body, but try not to lean back into that hand. Stay on the sits bones with a nice tall spine. Shoulders softening down the back body. 3 more nice deep breaths. Try to send some breath into the spine and back body. Inhale the arms back overhead. Exhale, float the arms down. Now take the right sole of the foot to the floor. Take your right elbow to the inner part of that knee, and we're pressing that elbow and that knee towards each other. And then take that left hand and let that hand travel back behind you. So we're going to twist to the opposite side with a little variation here. So looking over your left shoulder, keep pressing right elbow into right knee. And I still have a flexion in my left foot. 2 more breaths. Beautiful. Exhale back to center. Extend legs out, shake out knees a bit. And then we'll do that on the other side. Take your left sole of the foot into the right inner thigh. And here, if you need to, you could prop a blanket underneath this knee for support. Flex that right foot. Take the hands alongside your hips and cultivate that nice tall spine. And then inhale the arms overhead. Exhale, reaching through the crown as you hinge at the hips, coming towards your other side. So take that strap across the ball or center of the foot. And our bodies are balanced in different ways. If this side is tighter, then maybe you start off a little less. And just notice as you continue to hold a posture and incorporating, 5 to 10 breaths, you'll be able to feel the things begin to lengthen. And if you only have 5 minutes a day to work at something, then maybe you just pick one pose and you hold a forward fold for 5 minutes, and that's going to be really therapeutic versus just 5 breaths. Three more nice deep breaths. Mentally affirm, I am at peace within myself. One final breath. And then let's release the strap. We'll transition towards our twist. So inhale, take the hands towards that front foot back overhead. Now right hand lands at the left knee, left hand behind you, twisting towards your bent knee. Let those shoulders soften down the back. Breathing into the back body and spine. One more breath. Inhale the arms back overhead. Exhale, float the arms down. And now left foot to the floor. Bring that left elbow into the inner part of the knee and press those limbs together. Right arm extends out in front, and then let that right arm travel back behind you, twisting to the other side. The flexion your right foot, and notice your breath. With your next exhalation, transition back to center. Extend both legs out. We're going to do one more forward fold here. So starting in Dandasana, just have the hands alongside the hips, flex the feet, and just find that nice tall spine. So we often have that rounded forward shoulder posture. And so imagine you've got that string pulling from the crown of the head. And so that's just a little reminder to keep that nice tall spine. We'll inhale the arms overhead. Exhale, reach for the crown, hinging at the hips, coming into Uttanasana, forward fold. So again, you could use the strap. You don't need to use the strap, but it's just an offering. I feel like it just helps you to hold that pose a little bit better. But if you're not needing the strap, you can have your hands alongside the knee, the thigh, the calf, ankles, or toes. Here we'll let the body take shape of the pose, so let the shoulders round, let the head hang. You can gaze to the knees to keep neck in alignment with the spine. Noticing that lengthening in the backs of the legs, maybe in the adductors as well. Three more breaths. All right, we're going to transition to incline plane for a little upper body strengthening. So release the strap. We're going to inhale, take the hands towards the feet back overhead. Exhale, hands are going to come behind you, fingertips pointing towards the body. Maybe have it on the mat rather than the blanket, just so we don't slip. And then we're lifting our hips up off the floor, looking up to the ceiling. 2 more strengthening breaths. Release back down. All right, release the strap to the side. We're going to transition to hands and knees. So have a blanket underneath your knees. You might want to open up the blanket a little bit so you have some support underneath the kneecaps. So we're going to line wrist under shoulders and knees under hips. You've got space between the hands as well as the knees. If you need support for your wrists, you could take hands to fists. You could also roll up the top of the mat to support underneath the heels of the hands. So see if you need that support. We're going to move into a cat-cow flow. Take a deep breath in. With your exhalation, we're gonna arch up into cat back. Lift the belly button to the spine and press the back of the heart to the ceiling. And then inhale into cow. Soften the belly, lift the tail, and gaze up. Exhale back into cat back. And inhale into cow. Continue in this way, cat-cow flow. Awesome way to open up every part of the spine.
Also a good psoas stretch.
Also good psoas stretch. 4 more with the breath. Good, last one. Coming back to center at table, and then we're going to release back to child's pose, balasana. So take the buttocks towards the heels. If you can, take the forehead to the floor, either with your arms extended or alongside the body. And if the forehead doesn't naturally reach, stack a couple fists on top of each other to rest your forehead upon. Try to yield all of your weight into the earth as you sink into the breath. And it might feel better to widen the knees out towards the side edges of the mat. See if that feels better to your body. And then once you settle here, try to begin to relax in the hips and the glutes. Three more breaths. We'll lock the hands back towards the body, bring knees back towards each other. We're going to do a wrist stretch, so if you're okay to be on your heels, if that's uncomfortable, you can just stay up on your knees. And if you want an additional foot stretch, then tuck those toes under. We'll take fingertips together, rotate wrist around in circles. And reverse directions. All right, coming back to table, we're going to move into a sunbird flow. So we're going to take our right elbow and our left knee at center with our exhale, and then inhale, extend those limbs away from the body. Now I like to look down to the floor to keep neck in alignment with the spine, and it helps with balance. Exhale as you tuck, and inhale into sunbird. So we'll continue, we're going to do 5 on each side. This is 3. Exhale 4. Exhale 5 to hold. So try to square the pelvis to the floor, engaging your belly button towards the spine to protect the low back. And then a variation here if you want to try, grasping that ankle, left ankle with the right hand. Otherwise, stay in sunbird. 2 more breaths wherever you are. Exhale back to table. Switching over to our other side, left elbow to the right knee. Exhale at center, and inhale, extend the limbs away from the body. Okay, continue in this way. Exhale as you tuck, and inhale with that extension. Here's 3. Exhale 4. And 5. And we'll hold here for balancing sunbird. Again, square pelvis, lift belly button to the spine. I've got that whole palm and all 5 fingertips pressing into the floor. And then if you want to try that variation, grasp the right ankle with the left hand. 2 more breaths wherever you are. And exhale, release. We're going to come into pigeon pose. So take your right knee towards your right thumb. And then scoot that left leg back behind you. So everybody's going to have different positioning here. If you have tight hips or anything, you're going to be higher in the air. And so this might be your pose, and you're going to hang here, and you're going to use a lot of support with your hands and your arms. If you can get closer to the floor, then you can kind of lift the hands up and just really work on that right hip flexor opener. So this is piriformis that you're mostly feeling here in pigeon. You're going to get the same experience in keyhole. So if this is really uncomfortable, I'm just going to show you. You could also come to here and do this. It's stretching the same. We're going to do that at the end, but if pigeon is too much for you right now, then you could do that keyhole pose instead. So here, if it's really uncomfortable, take your foot closer to your pubic bone. That's going to offset the intensity in your right hip. You want to increase that intensity, scoot that calf and shin away from your body. So here we also have a little isometric stretch that we can incorporate where you're pulling your right hip back towards the back of the mat, and you're pulling your left hip towards the front of the mat. Hello, Piriformis, we love you. And so stay here up on the hands if you want. If you want to go any deeper, you could come down to elbows. You could take fists to the forehead, forehead to the fist, or you could come all the way to the floor. So wherever you are, relax as best as you can, breathing into that right hip. Two more breaths. All right, walk the hands back, come back to your elbows, and then walk your hands back towards your body. Take the palms to the mat. We're gonna release back to down dog to switch sides. So tuck those left toes under, lift your bodies up to down dog. We're gonna walk the dog several times, so alternate your heels as you bend each knee, really accentuating the hips out to the sides.
Also opens up the back of the ankle.
And then release, walking the dog. We'll hang in down dog for a few more breaths. Try to bring the heels to the floor. If they don't touch, then bring a slight bend to the knees. So your shins are coming slightly forward and your thighs are reaching back behind you. Lift and tilt the tail to the sky. And then bring your knees back down to table, and we're going to take pigeon to the other side. So left knee to the left thumb, and scoot that right leg back behind you. If that doesn't work or that's just uncomfortable, then you could do keyhole.
Don't push yourself to pain.
Yeah, don't, if it's really hard on the body and you're like, how am I gonna hold this for 5 breaths? Then come onto your back and do keyhole. Otherwise, you can stay up on the hands or begin to walk down towards the elbows or stack a couple hands on top of each other. And just notice, practicing self-sensing, and just see how it feels different on this side. It's amazing how differently balanced we are in musculature from our left to right side. So again, we're staying curious. Pain and discomfort is information for us, right? So it's like, okay, yeah, I need to do more stretching. My hips are tight, or my knees are tight, or whatever it is. But just take note of it and know what you can work with in the future. Relax that hip as best as you can. 3 more breaths here.
This is a stretch that all soccer players should do.
All athletes, all humans. Yes, soccer players.
We don't care about that.
I do. All right, friends, walk the hands back towards the body. Tuck those right toes under, pressing yourselves back to down dog. Let's walk the dog again a few times. And here in down dog for our upper body, you want to press your index finger and the ball of your index finger into the mat. That really creates that foundation for the upper body. All right, release walking the dog. So again, a little bend to the knees, press through the heels of the hands and the ball of that index finger, and then lift the tail to the ceiling. From here, we're going to walk our feet towards our hands, coming into a standing forward fold. Bring a bend to the knees here, helping out the hamstrings. And then we're going to release down into a squat pose. So take the buttocks towards the floor. Can you do this? Okay, heels aren't touching it. If it's really uncomfortable, just be here a moment. All right, so not so much heels. I'm just looking because I won't keep doing this. All right, we won't do squats much more. All right, come back to forward fold. And then we're gonna come into a lunge. So step back with your left foot. We're in a runner's lunge. So front knee should be at a 90-degree angle. Have that ankle be below the knee. And then let's take that left knee to the mat, and we'll take our hands to the front right knee. Okay, so just make yourself some adjustments. If this is really uncomfortable, scoot that foot closer to your body to offset that stretch a little bit. And if you need extra padding, double up underneath the kneecap. Good morning, hips. And then come into a hamstring stretch. We're gonna straighten that right foot, Flex, straighten that right leg, flex the right foot, and your hands can come to your hips. We'll do a little flow here. So inhale into the lunge, and exhale back to the hamstring stretch. A couple more flows. Inhale, exhale. One more time. Inhale, flow, lunge. Exhale back to the hamstring stretch. Return back to the lunge. Take the hands back to the floor. We're going to tuck those left toes under, come back up to runner's lunge. And then with your next inhale, we'll lift our right arm into the air for a twist. Release the right hand back to the floor. Step back to plank pose. And then we're going to take our right knee towards our left elbow, back to plank, and left knee towards right elbow, back to plank. We're going to do 5 on each side. Here's 3, 4, and 5. Okay, so from plank we're going to lift up to downward facing dog, so take the buttocks towards the heels. And then once again, walk the feet to the hands, coming into a standing forward fold. More breaths here. Bring a bend to the knees if the hamstrings are really tight. And then take the hands to the floor. We're going to step back with our right foot, runner's lunge to the other side. Starting in runner's lunge. Awesome, blossom. Yes, make variations. And then we're going to take that right knee to the floor. Top of the foot comes to the floor, and then hands come to that front knee. Okay, so settle here. If it's uncomfortable or too much, take the foot closer to your body. You want to align that ankle below the knee as best as you can. Have some padding underneath that knee if you need it. And we'll come into our counter stretch, so straightening that left leg, flex the foot, hands to the hips. And then we'll flow, inhale into the lunge. And exhale back to the hamstring stretch. 2 more flows. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. And exhale. Good. Back to the lunge. Take the hands back to the floor. Tuck those right toes under. We're coming back to runner's lunge. And then keep the right hand on the floor. Inhale that left arm up for a twist. One more breath. Good. Bring both hands to the floor. Let's step forward into forward fold. Oh, God. We got it. And then roll up to standing, one vertebra at a time. Let the head come up last, up to standing. All right, release your blanket to the side for now. We're gonna come into a standing twist, so feet can be wider than your hips. Standing twist. I like to roll onto my toes. Also keep feet connected to the floor. And we're going to hold a standing twist, so the next time you're looking over your left shoulder, let's hold there. Left hand can come to the right shoulder. Right hand can either come to your sacrum or tuck around the hip. Side to side, 3 more times. Hold the standing twist on the right side. Side to side, 3 more times. Good. Back to center. Cross, cross in yoga for the brain. Take the left elbow to your right knee, right elbow to your left knee. Cross the midline of the body. So y'all could do this before your games to get ready. I'm going to put together a little pre-game flow. Work on that for y'all. Thank you. Yeah, so you guys can do that for games and stuff. All right, try some behind you.
Excuse me.
One set in the front, one set in the back. Get it. Wow. Wow, that's fun. I didn't know that about you. One more set. All right, happy brains. Take both feet to the front of your mat and a large step back with your left foot. And do a warrior flow. So if you still have socks on and you're slipping on your mat, take socks off so you have good grip. Back foot has a 45-degree angle. Toes have a slight angle towards the front of our mat. We're going to square the hips to the side of the mat here. So take the arms up to a T. If you were to drop a string from your wrist, it would go down to your ankle, and so that would indicate a good length of stance for your own body. Let those shoulders soften down the back body. Take another deep breath in with your exhalation, bending into your front knee, coming into Virabhadrasana 2 warrior pose. Take a quick second and glance down that you can see your front toes beyond your front knee. If you can't, then scoot out your stance a little bit. You want to be able to see the toes beyond the knee. And really pressing your feet into the earth. A lot of the strength is coming in the foundation of the legs. Reverse warrior, warrior 4. We'll turn that right palm facing up. Release the right hand to the ceiling as the left hand comes behind the left leg. Not a lot of pressure to that back leg. We're more just placing the hand there. Inhale back to warrior 2, arms at a T. And then right elbow to the front thigh. Exhale, left arm overhead for side angle pose. Notice that line of energy from your left fingertips all the way to the outer edge of your left foot. And then we're going to flow with those movements. So inhale into warrior 2. Exhale into warrior 4. Inhale back to warrior 2. Exhale, side angle. One more flow. Inhale 2. Exhale 4. Inhale back to warrior 2. Exhale, side angle. And then inhale back to warrior 2 for 3 more breaths. Mentally affirm, I am strong. I am powerful. I am resilient. Good. Release that front knee, lower your arms, heel toe, heel toe, heel toe back together. Shake out the legs a little bit. Let's come back to the front of the mat and then take a large step back with your right foot. And do all that on the other side. So back foot has a 45-degree angle towards the front of your mat. Squaring your hips now to the side. Bring the arms up to a T. Take a deep breath in. With your exhale, bending into your front knee, coming into Virabhadrasana 2. Quick glance down to see the front toes, otherwise lengthen out your stance a little bit. And let the shoulders soften down the back. Warrior 4, we'll turn that left palm facing up, release the left hand to the ceiling, right hand comes gently behind the leg. Really here, pressing those 2 feet really deep into the earth for our foundation. Inhale back to warrior 2, and then exhale, side angle, left elbow to the front thigh, right arm comes all the way overhead. Okay, and then we'll flow. Inhale, warrior 2, exhale, warrior 4. Inhale back to warrior 2, exhale, side angle. One more time, inhale 2, exhale 4. Inhale back to warrior 2, exhale, side angle. Inhale back to warrior 2. Mentally affirm, I am courageous, I am brave, I am uniquely me. Release that front knee, lower the arms, heel toe, heel toe, heel toe back together. Shake out the legs a bit. All right, we're going to come into dancer pose for our balancing pose. So come to the back of your mat. Got some variations for you. If dancer doesn't work. So step forward with your right foot, spread out those toes before you land that foot, and just begin to balance on that leg. So lift your left toes off the floor, and just find that balance. We want to keep a little slight bend in that standing knee, and then I prefer to grasp the inner part of my ankle. So grab the left ankle with your left hand. As we get into dancer, you might like it on the outer part of the ankle. So see which variation feels good to you. The right arm's going to come up. So this is actually stargazer on the outside of the ankle, taking the heel towards the buttock. So this could be your balancing pose, stargazer. If you want to go into dancer pose, Nadarajasana, then you can begin to hinge at the hips, coming towards dancer. And so I'm kind of pressing that back foot into my back hand, creating a little tension there. And just finding which variation feels good to your body in this moment today. One more balancing breath. Good. Gently release down. Rotate that ankle you were just on 5 times in each direction. All right, and then step back again. We'll step forward now with our left foot. Spread those toes before you land that foot. Begin to balance on that leg, and then grasping the inner or outer part of your right ankle with the right hand. Left arm comes up. And then here's your pose here. Stay here. Otherwise, begin to hinge at the hips. Maybe finding a stationary point to focus the gaze. Breathing is the most important part of the pose. 2 more balancing breaths. Good, gently release. And rotate that ankle you were just on a few times in each direction. All right, we're gonna come onto our backs on our mat, so take your blanket so you have some warmth and some support. All right, coming onto the floor. Once you find your way on your back, we'll take our feet out to the side edges of the mat. Arms will come out to a T, palms to the floor. And just begin to sway the knees side to side like windshield wipers on a car. And begin to look in the opposite direction of your knees for a little twist flow. So as the legs land to the left side, gaze to the right hand. And exhale, legs to the right as you gaze to the left hand. And then the next time your knees fall over to your right side, let's release them to the floor for a double knee down twist. Try to just allow the weight of the legs to relax towards gravity. Shoulder blades stay rooted to the floor. Noticing breath. And then if you want to increase that stretch on your left quad, take the right ankle to the top of the left knee, making a little fan with the legs. And letting the weight of that right foot lengthen out the left quad. One more breath. And let's go side to side 3 more times with our twist flow. And then let your knees and legs land over on your left side, looking to the right for a double knee down twist to the other side. Sensing your breath. And then if you want to increase that stretch a little bit, take that outer left ankle to the top of your right knee. Quad stretch there. 2 more breaths. Good. And then feet at the side edges, side to side 3 more times. Good. Bring the knees and the head back to center. Keep the knees bent, but bring them hips distance apart. So line the ankles below the knees. Arms can come alongside the body. Keyhole pose. So one last hip opener. We'll take our right ankle bone to the left thigh bone. This might already be a stretch for you in that right hip. If so, stay here. Second variation is just to take the left knee towards the chest. Last variation is to thread the hands through with hands or strap on top of that left knee or underneath the knee along the hamstrings. You do want to be able to relax the shoulders and the head on the floor. So find the variation so you can accommodate relaxing the upper body. And again, you could take a strap across the knee rather than interlacing your hands. See if you want to tuck the chin to the chest or lift the chin to the sky. See what feels better to your neck. And as you settle here, I invite you also to begin to send some breath down into your right hip. Use your intention and attention to send breath into places that need more opening. Relax the jaw and the face. Flexing both feet for the last 3 breaths, increasing that stretch and that hip flexor just a little bit. One last breath. And we'll release. Take the feet to the mat, ankles together, knees together. Just sway the knees a couple times to each side before we transition to the next side. So Bring knees back to center. Bring your feet back to hips distance apart. And now left ankle bone to the right thigh bone. See which variation feels good on this side. Again, we're not taking it to that place of pain or discomfort, so back out a little bit.
But if you do want to take it to that plane of pain and discomfort, you use your elbow.
Yes, that's another variation. And then flexing both feet for the last 2 breaths. And gently release once again, feet to the floor, ankles together, knees together. Just rock the legs out a little bit. Bring the knees back to center. Let's extend the legs out long. Do one final exercise called hookups. Is a brain gym exercise. So cross your right ankle over your left and take your right hand to your left shoulder and left hand to your right shoulder. And if you're okay to close the eyes or just focusing on a stationary point in the room, just begin to reconnect to the rhythm of your own breath. Sensing where your body expands with your inhalation. And notice how everything releases back towards the spine with your exhalation. This is a great exercise if you are having any anxiety or stress or insomnia and having a hard time falling asleep. It's just really balance of the left and right hemisphere in the brain and the nervous system. Let's come back to that balancing breath, inhaling for 3 counts and exhaling for 3 counts. Inhaling 3. Exhale 3. Inhale 3. Exhale 3. Inhale 3. Exhale 3. 2 more rounds on your own. The breathing exercise and just coming back to the natural rhythm of your own breath. And then part 2 of hookups is we'll uncross our ankles and take all of your fingertips together, ring finger, middle finger pointer, and thumb, and make a little tent with the hands. And this just locks in all those new neural networks you just made in that first position. But I have fallen asleep a few times in that first position, so no worries if you don't get to part 2. Mentally affirm, I am amazing. And then release your arms back alongside the body, moving into Shavasana, final relaxation. You're welcome to cover yourself with that blanket if you want a little more comfort. Shavasana is an opportunity to allow us to integrate our practice into the body, mind, and spirit. Each breath allowing that integration as you invite your whole self to come into a peaceful state of relaxation. attention back to your breath. Begin to deepen and lengthen the breath to gently reawaken your body. As you deepen your breath, begin to invite simple movements, maybe wiggling fingers and toes. You could also circle wrists and ankles. If you'd like, extending your arms overhead, coming into a full body stretch, reaching from tips of toes to tips of fingers. And then roll to your right side, use your lower arm to support your head, taking a couple more relaxing breaths in the fetal position on your side, continuing to allow integration into the body. And using strength of hands, elbows, and arms, lifting yourselves up to a comfortable seated position. Take your time. Bring the palms facing down on the knees. If you're okay to close the eyes or just cast the gaze downward. And just take a few more moments to practice self-sensing, noticing any differences or changes than before we began together this morning. Take a few moments to just notice how you feel and give yourself a 2-word check-in for how you feel. And then we'll turn the palms to the ceiling. We'll close our practice with one Om. It's just the letter O and the letter M together. You can sing along or just listen. We'll take a deep breath in to begin, please. Inhaling. Take the hands to the heart center in Anjali Mudra. Bow first to yourself and just honor yourself for taking time out for self-care this morning. And then hinging forward to honor each other. Thank you so much. Blessings for your day.